It's time now for the all-new Animal Health Forum, brought to you by Paws Dog Training and Canine Behavior Center and Lake Chattooga Animal Hospital. And now your hosts, Ed Abel and Dr. Hilty Burr.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Animal Health Forum. Good morning, Dr. Burr. How are you today?
Good morning, Ed. I'm a little travel weary. I just got back from Nash Vegas. You know where that is? Somewhere between Las Vegas and Nashville. Boy, that city is sure really getting busy. It looks like the folks are coming out of the pandemic situation. And to be honest with you, it was really nice because I saw people around. Very few masks, which for me I like to see because it tells me that people are getting back to their lives. And so I'm back, but a little bit at my age, I get. The adjustment from Central to Eastern time is a little challenging.
I understand that. I feel the same way. Well, Doc, we have a guest with us this morning. I'm really happy to have Sheriff Ken Henderson here from Towns County Sheriff's Department. And as a lot of the people who have been following the show know, Towns County has recently put on a couple of canines into their department to be a force multiplier and to put a dent in the drug activity in our area. Good morning, Sheriff. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great. I appreciate you having me on.
We're happy that you're here. Before we get started this morning, let's give a shout out to some of our sponsors, if we could. Of course, Paws Dog Training and Canine Behavior Center. We can't forget them. And Chattooga Animal Hospital. I think, Doc, you know a little bit about Chattooga. I think you spent a few days there.
Yep. It's hard to believe I started that practice, but I did sell it a couple of years ago, I guess now. But have retired from it. Still busy with some nonprofits. But, yeah, Lake Chattooga Animal Hospital still supports the radio station, and we really appreciate that. And, of course, the Blairsville General Supply, which is a sponsor that you found for us.
Yes, sir. We really appreciate those folks over there, too. That's where they're our distributor for Fromm dog food, which we feed to all our working dogs. So if you get a chance, it's right off of the Gainesville Highway, headed outside of Blairsville. So please stop by and let them know you heard about them on the show. I'd like to get right to the sheriff because, my background of being former law enforcement, retired police chief, I can't say enough of how I feel canine expands the mission of law enforcement. And I'm very proud of our law enforcement up here in both the Tri-County area. I've met some of the most outstanding deputies, and the sheriff and I actually go way back. We met when I was still living in Hayesville, and I was just so impressed. And what I'm seeing from Towns County, just a really good bunch of guys who care about the community. Sheriff, tell us a little bit about why you wanted to have canine being a part of your department.
Well, Ed, you and I have talked time and time again about the importance of the dogs and what they're capable of doing and how much help they can be to a department. During the campaign, I talked a lot. I'm very passionate in that I want to work. I would set up a drug agency and have drug agents out here working our county and trying to do the best we can to get rid of some of these drugs. I felt the need for the dogs. I had never been around the canines that much, but I knew they were very helpful with law enforcement. So I wanted my guys to have the best of tools, and that's what we did. We decided we wanted these dogs, and I'm so excited to have them on board with us. We have one now that's certified, that's actually working. We have another one that's going to be coming on board soon. So I can't say enough about how pleased I am to have these dogs.
I think you have a good story to tell us, too, about the first dog certified 2 weeks ago is already putting a dent in crime.
Yes, he is, and we've had him out there. He works very well. The trainer, which I kind of got that from you because I wasn't real familiar with how that all works, but I think the trainer needs to be very good in being able to handle the dogs, and it's very good for us. I'm just excited to death. We're working hard in our short 5 months of being in office. We've made several major drug busts in our county, which I think is excellent. We're sending that message, and I'm going to continue to send that message.
That's great. That's great. And Doc, as a veterinarian over the years, you've worked with a lot of police service dogs and sports-related injuries and type of things they get. And we often have a hard time explaining to law enforcement agencies that we're providing dogs to or the general public, these are athletes. These are not sit on the couch, do nothing dogs.
Yes.
Can you give us a little bit of your insight as a veterinarian and what some of the things you've encountered with with the working dogs?
Well, I think you nailed it. They are working dogs. You know, part of the your nonprofit, Working Dog Support Network. I've always been very impassioned about the medical service dogs, as you know, but also the other leg or the three arms of your organization also is about law enforcement or helping the local agencies have police dogs or canine units, and it's kind of expensive to have those types of pets or not pets, working dogs, and I am amazed at how well they're what a great job you do, and I'm so happy that the local area, the local sheriffs, particularly Dr. Henderson, Chief Henderson, Sheriff Henderson, has embraced it, because I didn't really realize how big a problem it was here as far as drugs, and I'd like to hear Sheriff Henderson comment on that, because I think the average person may not know. So kind of let us know what you would think. We know we have drug problems in the big cities, but what's it like here out in the mountains?
Well, I've worked in law enforcement here for 38 to 40 years. And I knew we had, just like anywhere else, we had drug problems. I think it was quite an eye-opener to me to start to realize in this short 5 months just how much of that we actually have. And this sheriff is going to be out there, and we're going to be very proactive in making sure we got good drug agents, making sure as we have brought these working dogs on board with us, and we're going to do everything we can to keep our little county as clean as possible with for the drug problem. But we have it; it's here just like anywhere else.
Yeah.
I would say we're starting to see heroin.
Oh, really?
We're starting
Wow.
to see overdoses, and we've got to get out there and work this. And I plan to do just that.
Is it mainly in the young people? Do you feel?
Well, I don't see it in the young people as much as the middle-aged folks
Really?
that are having the drug issues. And, obviously it was in the paper, and it's on our webpage and website. We had a lady come in here with a pound of meth into
Wow.
Towns County. And we had been watching this, and we're lucky enough to get that off the streets, guys, and it didn't go out in our county. But that was the intention for it.
And that was the canine that found that.
Excuse me?
That was the canine that found that.
Yes,
drugs?
and we're just, again, I can't say enough about these working dogs and how much help they're going to be to us and for our county and our citizens and keeping it out. If, I want to work close, as I have for many, many years, with our young folks, and I want to keep these drugs away from our young people.
Yeah.
One of the things that I want to add too, we've had such great support from the Towns County, the principal at the high school, the middle school. We've been up there. They allow us to go up, and especially now we're in summertime, so they've been allowing us to go up there to train. And what I love so much is the community support that we're seeing. And we recently certified some dogs over in Union County for the school police, and it's the same thing. And as a former police chief, one of the ways that I judge whether a law enforcement agency is effective is you listen to the people in the community. And Doc, you were talking about this morning of the scuttlebutt that you hear, and it's very positive because people are seeing the deputies out there. They're seeing the school police out there. And it's a different mentality. It's not a mentality of us versus them. It's the community coming together to keep these drugs out of our school systems, out of our businesses. I don't think sometimes people even realize, you've got guys out here driving tractor trailers on the highway. You've got people working heavy equipment, a lot of construction going on now in our area. We don't want people out here high on drugs operating this equipment. So it's a massive problem, not to mention the crime that it brings into the area. Burglaries go up, robberies go up, stolen property, crimes of violence, that all comes with it. So my hat's off to the sheriff, because I think you're doing a great job over there, and I'm real proud of all of our law enforcement up here in the mountains, from Union County, the school police, Towns County, and it's about working together. And that was one of the comments I wanted to make too. I was talking to some of the officers, and they were talking about how finally we're doing dog training where we're bringing everybody together. Union County, we just certified the lieutenant over there, but they feel that camaraderie of working together, and that's when law enforcement's the most effective.
That's exactly right.
One thing, I'm kind of curious. Do you have a budget for this?
We actually have a budget for it, and we're going to, and of course, I can't say enough about our commissioner. Commissioner Bradshaw is working closely with us. He is as passionate as I am about drugs and keeping it off the streets here. So he's going to work with us, and I'm just excited that we're putting this together and it's working for us.
Ed, I think don't you provide these dogs at low cost? Or
right. Well, one of the things we work hand in hand with law enforcement and the first responders. And I want to put a plug in for our Towns County Fire Department because they recently had their canine out and found 2 lost hikers on Memorial Day. So canine is really making an impact here in Towns County, and I couldn't be prouder of these guys. And I know, Sheriff, you feel the same way. We're winding down now. We're going to be coming to our break, and we hope you'll join us when we come back.
Welcome back to the Animal Health Forum. Once again, your hosts, Ed Abel and Dr. Hilty Burr.
Okay, thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. First half of the show was with Sheriff Ode Henderson. It was really, really great. He's very refreshing to see someone so passionate about law enforcement, keeping us safe, and keeping drugs out of our community. And, of course, Ed, as you know, the working dogs that you're training for his department and several of the departments now in the mountains, this what I call the tri-state I think a four county area that seems to be so interwoven. But Ed, if you would refresh the listeners' memory about how important it is that we get help as far as funding for these types of efforts, these K9 units and medical service dogs.
Sure. PAWS Working Dog Support Network, which is a 501c3, a nonprofit. We've talked about, we have 3-prong approach to this. One is our medical service dogs and our dogs for PTSD and autism and other things. But the other part of that is our service dogs that we train for law enforcement and first responders, search and rescue, drug detection, explosive detection, and so on. These dogs are very expensive. The training, the dogs, if a department were to go out to purchase a dog, they are looking anywhere from $12,000 to $25,000 to get a dog. And when I first moved up here, I spoke with you, Dr. Burr, and a couple of other veterinarians and law enforcement, and I realized it's very difficult for a department up here, a smaller department, to take them in and send them away for 14, 16 weeks for training. So we wanted to be able to give something back to our area. And one of the things that we do is we bring dogs in. A lot of them are imports. We do our training with the dogs, and then we match them up with departments that want dogs and their handlers and put them through a full training program, get them certified, and then get them out on the street. That program depends heavily on the community support. We can't do this. As a matter of fact, we're working on a video that we're doing right now, and everybody on it, their final statement is, we can't do this without you. And it's such a true statement. We can't do what we do if we don't have the community support, business support, political support, corporations that will underwrite programs. We have some events coming up, and if you would, I'd love to touch on those. And one of them is going to be a concert with Bobby Horton. Will be coming up here soon. And we have the Pet Celebration. That's a big one. We can't forget that. It's going to be coming up. And the guys at the Pet Celebration, you, Dr. Burr, and all those people have helped us tremendously.
Yeah, that's true. I'm really excited about the events coming up. You're exactly right. The first one coming up, I'll go ahead. It's going to be the one that helps raise money for the Working Dog Support Network, and that's going to be. We're kind of working on the date right now. We're working with the production company, and but it'll be sometime in late July. Possibly might have to go in August. We'll let you know on the next show probably exact date. But this is really going to be neat. It's for a first come first serve kind of event because this guy is really, really talented, and we're trying to have a more intimate type of concert. It's going to be a gourmet fest, is what we call it. It's going to be excellent music and food, some champagne to celebrate the sweet summer nights. Bobby Horton, if you're not familiar with him, he did all the music for Ken Burns' movies or documentaries such as the Civil War and baseball. I mean, most folks, I think, are familiar with Ken Burns. He's an award-winning filmmaker, and Bobby Horton does all that beautiful music in the background, and he does a wonderful job of telling stories. He's an entertainer's entertainer, frankly. And so if you're interested in that one, please contact us, and we'll get you on the list for a send-out invite. I'll go ahead and mention we have another event coming up in August. I think it's August 23rd, perhaps August 27th. It's a Friday, and that's for the Celebration of Pets Foundation, which is another nonprofit that I work with, and that's going to be Gnarly Fingers, and everybody in the area knows Gnarly Fingers, and it's going to be a Friday night concert, so we expect a big turnout to support that nonprofit. But Ed, again, I think it's really important that folks know that we need their support, so let's go ahead and give out the information how they can contact us, and if they can help us with funding or volunteering or anything at all.
Sure. One way of doing it is just give us a call. It's 706-716-9990. 706-716-9990. Or you can go to pawsworkingdogs.org. That's pawsworkingdogs.org. And we'll have information posted up there, or you can just give us a call if you have any questions. Of course, you can always reach us through the radio station. Or on the other website. You have a website for the Animal Health Forum, I believe.
Right, celebrationpetsfoundation.org. Just reach out if Ed or I can't, just tell us you're interested in the Bobby Horton concert, and we'll put you on the list. Remember, we have a limited number of seatings for this, so we feel like we're going to sell out. So I encourage you to go ahead and contact us so we can put you on the invite list. Ed, one of the things I want to stress too. You're mentioning, I forget, the Rama Cook's daughter. She has a big event coming up, right?
Yeah, Hannah is going to be swimming out Lake Chattooga again. She did it last year as a fundraiser. She takes pledges. She's looking for sponsors and support. So again, give us a call at PAWS, 706-716-9990 if you're interested in learning more about Hannah Swim, which I believe is going to be July 6th. She's going to be swimming and taking her pledges for every foot that she swims. So we're excited about that.
And that's such a cute girl, and she has that dog Dex that helps her, which is dog you're training, and almost pretty much on the home stretches, pretty much you're training as a diabetic support dog, essentially detects low blood sugar. It's amazing what medical service dogs can do. And please check out Rama. I think they even have a Instagram or something where you can follow her progress. Is that right?
Yeah, Dex is the name of the dog, DEX, and I think it's called Following Dex. The other thing, Doc, I think we ought to mention here, too, we want this to be an interactive show, so we're always asking for questions from people, not just questions about events or how they can support us, but veterinarian-related questions or dog training and behavior questions. We really want to hear from you, and I think you have a medical question that somebody sent in to you.
Yeah, Packy handed me this when I got in, and I do want to reinforce, we really do want this show to be about you, like Ed mentioned. We've had the Animal Health Forum show on the air for, I think 12 years. I took a short little hiatus, but when I came back, I decided I wanted to expand the focus, not just involve medicine, but involve pet behavior. So that's why Ed is now is partnering with me. But we're still keeping a medical focus. And here's the question I got from Allie, and this is actually from Tennessee somewhere. That's interesting. It says, I have a geriatric cat that has some pussy-like material coming out of her side. She seems fine otherwise, but keeps licking it. What can I do for home treatment? I am on a fixed income, and COVID pandemic has made things even worse, so I can't afford to take him to a vet. Ooh, yeah, that's a toughie, because really that pet should be seen by a vet, to be honest with you. However, I'm going to go ahead and mention how I would handle this if I was in practice, and again, if Allie had contacted me, because I could give her some advice. That's the thing, too. You always think that for veterinarians is they're available to talk to you, or their staff, and they can help you over the phone, or they have a lot of communication tools their own. So I encourage you to interact with a veterinarian, because a lot of times when folks say, I can't afford to, I think a lot of times that's just a perception that everything's going to be really, really expensive. I've always said, if you have a problem financially, talk to your vet, because I believe most vets will kind of work with you, and that gets into some of the notions that of care credit and pet insurance and some ways that you can lower your costs. But in this situation, I would have said that's a very common health problem in cats, particularly indoor, outdoor cats. And what usually happens is they get in a fight with another cat, or a bird can peck them, and they get an infection under the skin that develops into an abscess. Cats are very susceptible to abscesses, and fortunately, it has opened up because the material is coming out, and that's a good thing, because if it continues to stay in the skin and not drained, then they can get deathly ill. So I'm really glad that I opened it up. If you don't take them to the vet, then you should clip the hair out from around the wound area, and then do some compressing to try to keep that. And I really love Epsom salts. Epsom salt compresses. That's where you put a little Epsom salt in warm to hot water, soak it in a towel, and just kind of massage the area with that, and that helps keep it draining and kind of helps pull the abscess material out. If that cat begins to get sick at all, quits eating or laying around or something, you're going to have to take them to a vet because they probably are getting septic, and so that's how I would approach that.
Well, Doc, that's some pretty good advice. And, like I said, we want to be an interactive show. We want to get your questions, so please get them mailed in to us. Again, you can put them at the Animal Health Forum online, or you can go to Paws Working Dogs Support Network or pawsworkingdogs.org. We'll be glad to help you. You can always mail it snail mail at 198 Butternut Lane in Blairsville, Georgia, 30512. We'd love to get your questions. And Doc, we're rolling down here. I want to just give again another say to our sponsors at Chattooga Animal Hospital. Of course, Paws Working Dog Support Network and Paws Dog Training and Canine Behavior Center, as well as the Blairsville.
Yeah, the Blairsville General Store.
General Supply, right.
General Supply, yeah, that's right. Gee whiz, it's great to have more than a couple of sponsors now. We're having a hard time keeping up with it. But we are very grateful for that help, and we really appreciate everyone listening, and you are really what we're here for. So please reach out for us, and thank you for listening.
And don't forget, it's summertime. The heat kills dogs. Please do not leave your dogs in closed-in cars.